Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. I'm gonna do a review this time. Um, so this is my third of the four Analog Productions UHQR releases. I missed the first one. Um, I unfortunately didn't hear about it until well after it was sold out. It was Axis Bold as Love from Jimi Hendrix, which is one of my probably 5 all-time favorite albums. I've always loved that album. That's my favorite. I like all the Jimi Hendrix albums, but that one's always been my favorite. Uh, and the prices have just gotten ridiculous on those, so the likelihood of me running or getting one are pretty out there. However, I did jump on the wagon for the Jethro Tull. Aqualung has always been a favorite of mine. I'm not a huge Jethro Tull fan. I really like 3 of their albums, and the rest I don't dislike the rest of it. I just don't really go back and listen to it. There's that 3 album period I listened to, but the Aqualung was fantastic. I may still do. I What happened with those was, by the time I got around to thinking about doing videos about with that one and the follow up, they were already you couldn't buy them anymore, at least not for the retail price. So I decided not to do those videos. I may still do some comparison videos because the Aqualung is by far the best sounding version of that album. And I've got some really nice copies. I've got a really nice original pressing, and I've got a super clean MoFi pressing, which until the UHQR came out, I thought was the best sounding version of that album. And then, of course, the last one to come out was Kind of Blue. I actually had some issues with Kind of Blue. The first one I got, I was one of the early people. Mine was numbered under 1,000, and from what I understand, that first pressing, or the first couple pressings, there were issues, but my pressing was really noisy. A lot of little tiny pops and stuff throughout the album, and there's some real quiet spots on that album where it really destroyed it. Analog Production's real cool about that stuff. They send me another copy. Unfortunately, the second copy, which was dead quiet, had a pressing error or a pressing issue right through the first song. There was like a real loud squeak. Don't know what it was. Again, they replaced it again, and finally the third one is the one I kept. It still wasn't dead quiet. There were still some little pops here and there, real light ones, not real loud. Ultimately, though, I'm again, I may do a comparison video with that one too, going between the that and then the MoFi 45 RPM box. It was done 5 or 6 years ago. So the newest one that just came out is Are You Experienced from Jimi Hendrix. I've opened it up and I listened to it twice. I was about to start listening to it for a third time, but decided to pull it off real quick and do this video. If you're not familiar with the UHQRs, I recommend going and watching the video on the UHQR process. It's a pretty interesting process. I think they're really getting it down now. Like I said, the first couple albums, the Aqualung, there were some light pops and stuff. Again, they're real light. It's not like real loud ones, but throughout the album, the same with the Kind of Blue. The Kind of Blue is by far the best sounding version of that album I've ever heard. I've never heard an original pressing of it, but from all the pressings I've heard, it blows them out of the water. And basically the same holds true with the Are You Experienced. It's a really interesting pressing process that they do with this. They use a custom machine that they built just for this, for the UHQRs, where normal records thin out as you get towards the edges, and with the UHQRs, they make it so it's perfectly flat. It doesn't thin out as you get towards the edges, and then all the vinyl is clear. Now each of the UHQR so far has been a different color of clear. Some have been milkier. This one's probably the clearest one. I didn't pull them out to compare them, but I feel like this one's the clearest one. And the reason that they're clear vinyl is because to get the black and the vinyl, carbon's added. So they decided not to add carbon to it. And honestly, like I said, this one is dead quiet. However, when you compare it to, like, I've never gotten a Mo-Fi pressing that had any even light pops in them. Unfortunately, that's not true with analog production stuff. However, Analog Productions, I think, has a better selection of music than Mobile Fidelity. And also, the mastering is just on another level. I can't think of any albums off the top of my head that Mo-Fi and and Analog Productions have done where the mastering wasn't a little bit better, sometimes a lot better, with the Analog Productions release. Another one that comes to mind is The Doors. I've always loved the Mobile Fidelity pressing of The Doors. However, the one that Analog Productions did a few years ago it takes The Doors to another level. And all the Doors albums, I highly recommend grabbing those. Anyway, let's get back to the Jimi Hendrix. So just to show, this is the packaging. It's definitely a little bit over the top. Really nice though. And a lot of what you're paying for when you pay the price of the UHQRs is with the packaging. The CEO of Analog Productions actually did a video a while back talking about the UHQR process and actually talking about what it cost just for the packaging alone. And I want to say it was like $35 cost just for the packaging. It's basically a wood box. This is wood. I'm guessing the under here is cardboard, but this is all leather wrapped. Really nice gold foil. Show you the back of it. Back's not as interesting. And then it slides out. And they all come with some materials, but this one is really nice. So you've got the UHQR certificate that just kind of tells you that there were 20,000 pressed. Let you know it's UHQR. It's Clarity Vinyl, which is what they call this vinyl blend that they use. Of course, they've got the little fold-out advertisement. And then this one, well, before I get to that, you've got the UHQR story, and it kind of goes in depth. You can kind of see right there what I was talking about with the vinyl work. It's thinner, whereas this one, it stays the same all the way across. Anyway, it kind of goes in depth into the entire process. Again, I recommend the video because the video that Chad did is really good and really, I mean, they show you step by step. This one came with a really nice book, though. Some great photos of Jimmy and of the band. Now, I've seen most, if not all, of these photos before, but still, just a beautiful job. A great write-up in there as well. And then last but not least, we've got the record itself. Of course, on the Stoughton jacket. And, I mean, it looks amazing. This is really where Analog Productions kind of blows out Mobile Fidelity is in the packaging. These Stoughton jackets are phenomenal. And they just did a beautiful job redoing the artwork. And then mine is number 1980 out of 20,000. So here's the vinyl. This one may be about the same as the Kind of Blue. And then the one, the Aqua Lung, I want to say, is a little bit milkier. But just kind of looks similar to the Coke bottle color vinyl that some places release. And of course, it was done by QRP, who is owned by Analog Productions. So sound quality. So honestly, on the first listen, the first two songs, Purple Haze and Manic Depression, I was like, it sounds good. I don't know that it's all that, you know. Even on Hey Joe, I've got a really nice original pressing. I've also got a really nice from what was it, 5 or 6 years ago. They did the 200 gram pressing of it, I believe. May have been 180. I thought they did a 200 though. That was done by Legacy and the Experience Hendrix by the Hendrix family, and it sounded really good. Where it really started getting really nice on this one was from Love and Confusion and on. Love and Confusion, May This Be Love, and I Don't Live Today are fantastic. You really start to hear details that I had never heard before. And this is an album that I've probably listened to 1,000 times. It's one of those albums where I know every riff, every vocal, the bass lines really pop out in this one in a way that they really didn't in other pressings. The hi-hats and the cymbals sound fantastic. The only issue I have with this is not even an issue with this. It's an issue of stereo albums from the late 60s and early 70s where they really liked. There's a few songs on here, and I've got all the records sound like this, but because it's so clear and it sounds so good, it really kind of stands out, you know, when you've got Jimmy only in the left hand, in the left channel. But man, it sounds killer. Are You Experienced is phenomenal. The standouts to me though are I Don't Live Today, The Wind Cries Mary, Third Stone from the Sun, and Are You Experienced. I heard stuff in those songs that I've never heard before. Love and Confusion, again, sounds really good. And like I said, this thing sounded so good that as soon as I was done with side 2, I flipped it back to side 1. And I was about to flip it again and listen to it again. But decided to knock this video out real quick. So I highly recommend grabbing it if you guys are into audiophile. Even if you're not, this may be a good introduction to you or for you into a really nice audiophile record. You know, I hear a lot of people complain about the price of the UHQR stuff, but when it sells out, and the prices go through the roof. I want to say the Aqua Lung's going for like $300-400 now. I haven't looked at what kind of blue is going for. If you miss out, you miss out, and it really is fantastic. If you're a lover of this album, I recommend it. That's it, guys. Tell me what you guys think down below. I actually held off. A few of my friends have done reviews on this, and I purposely didn't watch them or listen to them because I wanted to kind of hear it for myself. But those are my thoughts. Give me yours. I hope everybody's good. Stay safe. Take care.